Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week, I talk with Tyler Linner from Minnesota. We talk about TSD rallies, oddball cars, and his 1960s Chevy Corvair build. Now safe at any speed. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into rallying?
Yeah, my name is Tyler Linner. I've been interested in rallies since I was a little guy. I don't know what the first experience was, but at some point my uncle let me play his rally video game, and it was like the Ford Focus WRC and stuff like that. So that was quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
And I had a good time, and I just didn't have any concept that rally existed in the U.S. So I went to college in Detroit and got involved with the local car club, Michigan Volkswagen enthusiasts. And
Oh, very cool.
yeah, a guy on the forum posted up and said, "Hey, I'm going to LSPR. Anyone want to go with me?" And I was like, "What's LSPR?" So I drove out to Grand Rapids, and we piled into his Eurovan weekender and watched like Nitro Circus videos on the way up on the little weekender table.
Yeah.
And it's just been that ever since. I think that was 2011. And I think the next year we all volunteered, and I've been volunteering every year. I think I missed 1 or 2 years for grad school, but it's been a dozen years so far. And it's gotten deeper and deeper as the longer I go.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So recently I watched, I think it's your friend's videos.
Gavin?
The one with the Toyota MR2, is it?
As a Supra? The Red Hen
Supra.
Racing?
That's what it was. Red Supra. So
Yeah.
you guys tackled the Press On Regardless rally.
Yeah, so we did that 2023. I co-drove, or I navigated for him. In TSD, it's navigation, not co-driving. And
Right. Exactly.
it was really fun. There were some sections that we were trying to keep pace, and there were some sections at night that I was kind of like, I got to look at the road book. I can't look out the windshield. And it was so fun that we said we got to go do this every year. And that year his trailing arm on his Supra broke from rust. So we didn't actually finish the rally. So I had to come back last year with my Corvair, got my Corvair done, and my dad navigated for me, and that was a lot of fun. So
excellent. So the Corvair, how long have you had that?
I got that in 2021, I think. Okay. I've had this kind of back and forth relationship with newer cars, and I had a Honda Insight, which is a fun car. Yeah. It would be a great car to have with a warranty, but for me, I got a bad one, and it really screwed me over. And I said, you know what? I want a car that I can work on everything myself. And I kind of considered all the options. I didn't want plastic. I didn't want computers. And
right.
Turned out Corvair is kind of the sweet spot where I can still get a lot of parts for it and everything. So I restored that on my YouTube channel, Sealed Beam Rally Team.
Right.
So I'm working on my video from going to Press On Regardless right now. I'm actually editing that actively. So.
Oh, awesome! What year and model is the Corvair?
It's a '63 coupe. It's a Monza 900 or 900 Monza.
Okay.
It's got a 102 engine, so it's non-turbo, but it's got a limited slip, 4-speed. Kind of the performance options that you could get without being turbo.
Okay, excellent. My dad, he was not a car guy at all, ever. But before I came along, before I was born, I think he owned every single type of Corvair. You had the station wagon. You had yours. You had, is it the Greenbrier, the van?
Yep, I got one of those. Pretty rough condition, but
Oh, very cool. So
yeah,
the only thing you didn't have is that it's like the Greenbrier van, but a pickup where the side folds down or something like that.
yeah,
That's the only one you didn't
yeah.
have, I think.
The ramp side,
Yeah.
they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. I've always liked looking at those. And of course, I think they got a bad rap, obviously, with Ralph Nader's book, but kind of
Yeah,
unique for those people who don't know. It's a rear engine,
it's air
correct?
cooled rear engine.
Yeah.
Yep, and Ralph Nader criticized them for having bad handling, but
Mm-hmm.
the secret sauce is if you're getting a. He just criticized the early ones. The
Yeah.
late ones from 65 to 69 are
Mm-hmm.
amazing performance cars, but the early ones 60 to 64, all you gotta do is you cut the rear springs so the camber goes slightly negative, and then you have a car that handles really well.
Oh wow. Okay. That's simple of a fix.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because a lot of people will think, oh, he's going to rally a car that's unsafe at any speed. How's that possible? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
Gavin and I went out and did some ice racing, well, ice cross, which is autocross on ice, this winter, and I won my class with a Corvair in
oh,
two-wheel
that's
drive
awesome.
rubber. So yeah, it hooks up pretty well.
So if folks go to your Instagram account, which is Seal Beam Rally Team, I believe, is that correct? Yep.
Yep, yep, and
And
YouTube is the main one. Yep,
YouTube, and I really like the colors you chose as well as the graphics.
thank you.
It's kind of very retro for, kind of fits the time period of when the car was built, and sold.
Yeah,
And the
and
color
the selective
combinations,
yellow.
yeah, and the combination's great. So your sponsor is Clark's, and they're, I guess, in Massachusetts, I believe, and they're one of the premier, if not the only, Corvair parts dealer in the country. Is that correct?
They're the major one. They're the biggest Corvair actually parts company in the world, I believe. They remanufacture almost everything.
Oh, so they remanufacture. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can buy brand new door cards and all the kind of weird stuff and grommets and everything.
So I wonder how many Corvairs are still on the road to this day for them that
Oh, probably a
remanufacture parts.
million.
There's got to
I
be
don't
a
know.
ton of them.
It's crazy. They have really they just put out they're manufacturing new carburetor bases now. And that's
Mm.
how detailed and nerdy they get with making sure that stuff is available for these things. It's really cool. They've been Corvair is a really weird fuel pump that no one can get right, and they've been
Oh wow.
going through a multi-year process to make those available too. So just really cool to have support from a company that cares so much about keeping these cars on the road.
Right. So how did that relationship start with you and Clark's? Obviously, you probably reached out to them for parts, but how did they get to sponsoring your team?
Yeah, well, they were one of the reasons that I felt comfortable buying a Corvair in the first place because I was looking at Falcons and Valiants and MGs, and um, the Corvairs really had the best part support, so I kind of
Mm-hmm.
had them in mind from the start. But just having the YouTube channel was valuable for them to be able to show that a normal guy can do this work and install it, and I'm learning all this stuff as I'm filming it, so it was just kind of a win-win for us that I do the YouTube channel, I go out
Mm-hmm.
and I put my cars through paces, and I have a Saab Sonnet that I've taken to multiple rallies and driven out to LSPR, and I just put them through things that normal people don't, I think, and it's
Right.
it's fun to see that not only can I work on the car and do that work to it, but I can also just use it for something that's kind of performance oriented
Mm-hmm.
and put stuff to the test.
Yeah, and I've watched a number of the videos, and your dad pitches in quite a bit on the car.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out pretty well that on 2020, with the restructuring of pretty much everything, I ended up living with him again, and
Hmm.
um, it works pretty well because we help each other out with projects, and yeah, he's a great help to be out there, and as long as I'm not too grumpy from whatever I'm working on.
Yeah. Oh, I know how it is. Um, what is your dad's background with motorsports, if any? Is he just a regular car guy, gearhead, excuse me, or has he ever raced or anything like that?
He's an architect, and
Okay.
well, retired architect now. I think I got the design bug from him because I worked for General Motors for a few years doing sculpting,
Oh, awesome.
and so that's he never really was into cars that much, especially aside from having a couple Corvairs when he was younger. But he didn't have really any bug for cars that much when I was
Hmm.
growing up.
Okay.
My grandfather kind of willed me a 65 Ford pickup, and my dad and I kind of worked on that and figured out how to keep stuff on the road and all that stuff. But it wasn't a huge part of my growing up. But
Hmm.
he was, well, after 2020, has been coming to rallies with me and doing rally stuff, and enjoys kind of the coordination aspect, I believe. And um, it's just a kind of challenge to get out, and we do chief of controls for Ojibwe Forest Rally, for Headwaters and Namaji, and we do stage captain stuff for LSPR, and it's just a
Oh,
good time to get out in nature and do some fun stuff.
right.
Spend
Very
some time.
nice. Very nice. So, what are your future plans with the car, and what rallies or events that you're going to attend to this
Well,
year?
since 2020, I've been getting really into both SCSEA Road Rally and into stage rally more,
Hmm.
and I like both a lot. So it's kind of hard because I organize two TSD rallies every year, Flamethrower and Green Hack. And Green Hack is, if you think about a TSD rally for people who want to do stage rally, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you don't really have to have a special car for it, um, and you can just have a lot of fun on some of the same roads.
Right.
So I really like that because you can get so many more people involved, and you can get both a pipeline from TSD Rally into Stage Rally, whether it's volunteers or crew or whatever. You can also get people from Stage Rally to come and do TSDs where they don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a weekend to go enjoy the roads. They can just spend a couple hundred and
Right.
stay overnight in a hotel once and be done. So I want to do more of that for sure. I've been
Excellent.
really involved with developing our program around here because TSD Rally isn't that big of a thing, and it was really big in the 70s and 80s, and it
Hmm.
it kind of died off at a certain point. So kind of rediscovering it as a generation, I guess.
Talking with folks such as yourself and Andrew Layton, who wrote the book on Press On Regardless history, um, I thought it would be fun being here in central Pennsylvania to have a TSD. There's
Yeah,
some fantastic roads, and um, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
there
How
are some
difficult
out
is
there.
it to
Yeah.
organize and plan one of those?
I mean, you definitely have to know how rallies are structured, and I want to make a video on kind of how that works. But the cool thing that I enjoy about the I really like to look at the similarities between TSD and stage rally because if you think about the structure of the stages and the transits and the service and stuff like that, stage rally really is a very specific type of TSD rally where instead of having an average speed, you go really fast. So
Hmm.
you have the same kind of check-in times, your maximum permitted lateness, you have to follow a certain schedule. All this stuff is very similar side to side. So if you know how a stage rally works and all the controls and all that stuff, you're already halfway there to organizing a TSD.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So it's mainly a matter of learning the apps and just running the roads. And actually, out in Pennsylvania, there are quite a few rallies.
Oh,
Have you heard
really?
of
Okay.
Bruce Gazan? Bruce Kazan is I think 80 something years old now. He's been doing it forever. He was actually on the Ford factory team for TSD rallying in the like 69 and 70, I believe.
Oh
I
wow,
may be
okay.
a couple years off, but they would supply cars or give people rebates on cars or something like that with new Mustangs back in the day. And they had people, I think like 5 people who would run rallies in their regions with their Ford Mustangs and try to, get points for the Ford factory team. So he's out in Pennsylvania. Drives a Mini Cooper now, and he flies all over, and he's
Oh
trying to
wow,
get
okay.
the most lifetime points in SCCA. But
Right.
the U.S. Road Rally Challenge is in Ohio this year, and I'm told
Okay.
that it could be kind of stage rally oriented. I'm not sure. Really
Very
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. So it sounds like what I should do is probably volunteer at a stage rally and learn about how the things how things work, and then kind of work my way into the TSD.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good exercise. STPR is right up the road for me, and talk about it a lot. But yeah, I should definitely do something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you can get on the committee for something small, maybe you organize a service or maybe you organize, tech inspection or something
Hmm.
that to get you in front of people who do it a lot and you can kind of pick their brains for how it all works and you kind of get osmosis for that.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So, any plans for any other vehicles other than your? Because I know what
Yeah.
happens. Because you know, I'm getting a car from a friend of mine, uh, a '64 Renault Dauphine,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, it's in pretty good shape. It's running. It's got the push button automatic, which I'd love to find a manual for it, but I'm already like looking at other vehicles. It's kind of like an illness,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Well, the hot modification for those, definitely you want to cut the springs like a Corvair because you'll handle way better. But you can also do a triangulation bar, kind of like to control the toe of the rear wheels. So they would add, I think the
Okay.
Gordinis would have that, so it triangulates your rear axle. Normally they don't have A arms on those. It's just like a single a single little arm that sticks out. So if you can
Oh yeah.
triangulate that, you'll get a lot more control over your alignment and have a lot better handling.
Oh okay. Oh, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'll have to pick your brain when the time comes, and I'll start
Sure.
working on
Yeah,
that.
I've been tempted by those on Marketplace, but I have the Saab Sonnet, and
Mm-hmm.
that I need to do a full brake job, and one of the wheel cylinders started leaking, and I just gotta tear it apart and do some stuff to it. So that's in the barn. Got a ramp truck project been working on.
Okay.
So I got a parts truck that's nicer than my project truck, so now I have two project trucks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna combine them both into one, and that's what I've been doing all day today. And
Okay.
like to get into stage rally at some point. Getting maybe a little front wheel drive car or something to test it out. And hey, maybe I build a late model Corvair to go out and try to compete in O2 or something eventually. I'm not sure.
Oh, very cool. Well, my friend who has the Dauphine, he's always looking at projects, but it took him, I think, 12 years to restore his '78 Firebird. He's he's about 50. He's had I think it's a '68 Bronco that he's had since he was a teenager. He's got two BMW 2002s, about a dozen motorcycles. And my wife looks at it and like, don't you dare, don't even think about getting all these stupid projects that you're never
It's
gonna
it's
finish.
tough. It's really tough.
Like there's
I've
this
got
Scout,
yeah,
International Scout up the road here that's for sale, and
that'd be fun.
crazy stuff. So yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I think it was Randy Graves. He used to co-drive in a Alpine A110, which you might be interested in as a Renault
Oh
person
yeah,
now.
those are cool.
Um, but he used to have, I think it was like a Ram Charger or No, he rode with a Ramcharger person. He had a rally car and he had a BMW Bavaria, and depending on which one was broken worse, he would rally either the tow car or the rally car. So, I mean, maybe there's a way to do a twofer kind of deal with that. You
Oh yeah.
build a Ramcharger K5 Blazer or something and go and try to put down some times on the rougher stages, especially with LSPR. Like they have
Hmm.
those newer stages that people complain about being so rough. Well, build an SUV, go fast where
Oh
no one
yeah.
else can. Go through the places that everyone else is getting flats. I don't know, do something weird.
Yeah, right. Um, and that's part of what I like about Rally too is the weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes seeing cars that you least expect. I think there was a Volkswagen Bug in the 100 acre.
Hmm.
Um, just seeing some of the oddball cars that didn't somebody? I think
Yeah.
somebody had a Subaru with a Ferrari engine last year or something real
Yep.
crazy.
I thought it was very cool to see the 100 acre wood. I think it was overall standings, and the top 10 were almost 10 different marks. I mean, it was, of
Right.
course, Subaru, of course, Ford, and then
Hmm.
Skoda, Renault,
I think there was a
Peugeot.
Peugeot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. And BMW was in there. I remember, I think it was my second LSPR. There was a Saab 900, classic 900.
Hmm.
There was a CRX. There was a um, Mark. I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Hebe has a gray Super Beetle that won class, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's what I really love to see is the weird cars, and that's what makes rally special for me is so many real roads, real cars. All the stuff that they say, but um, the fact that you can go and build a 50-year-old car and actually compete with people and
Right.
actually win is
Right.
amazing. And
Oh
so
yeah.
much of it is down to driving and co-driving and just doing a good job and not making mistakes.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see all the different vehicles out there. And there was even a Fiat 500, I think, at Snowdrift. So,
I remember
yeah.
when someone drove a Toyota Starlet at Snowdrift. That was
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about uh, American Rally is that you can build just about anything as long as it's safe and reliable and take it out
Yeah.
there and have a lot of fun and compete on the same stages as Semenuk and Pastrana. It's really
Yeah.
something cool to see.
Yeah. And I really like seeing the more historic cars coming out because that's what I'm into. I think there's a special feeling to old cars and sometimes you have a lot more fun at a lot lower speed and it's
Oh yeah.
overall kind of a slow car fast and all that.
Right.
One of my dreams would be if I won the lottery, go build a replica of the winner of the Monte Carlo rally back in I think '39 was a Ford two-door with a V8. I
Oh
think it'd be
wow.
really cool to get like a '39 Ford and make it into an ARA stage rally car.
That would be awesome.
Oh,
That would be, yeah, that would just be totally unexpected. The
oh
fans would
yeah,
go crazy, and that's
yeah,
the fans just love seeing any car go fast and but sometimes I like a STPR. I think it was 2023. Somebody had the newer Volkswagen Bug, a red one, and the fans always cheered that one on for sure as it came
oh, the new
around. And
Beetle, yeah.
yeah, the newer Beetle, yeah, and they're honking the horn and everything. So yeah, I just love classic cars. I've done work for, and I'm not too far from the Antique Automobile Club of America headquarters,
Okay.
and I go to the Hershey Fall Meet every October, and I see Corvair parts everywhere. So if you ever need it, but I always look at those old cars and think, oh man, it'd be fun to race something like that. But
Yeah, and that's what I love about doing TSDs is like you don't have to spend 10 grand on safety equipment to do it. You just as long as your car is safe for the road, you go out and do it. It's kind of like almost less stringent than autocross or rallycross as far as tech inspection. As long as your car can show up and drive there, you're
Right.
good. And we find some roads, and it depends on the organizer. It depends on what region you're in and
Mm-hmm.
what their philosophy is. But there is a huge potential for increasing involvement in rally in general. Let's say rally with a small r. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone who is out there and loves stage rally and loves going and seeing the cars compete, almost all those people can be going and competing in their own daily drivers at TSD
Right.
rallies. And
Right.
I think that's so cool because TSD rallies usually used to be kind of a feeder into stage rallies. So you'd have the people would run back in the day, you'd have a TSD rally that you'd have average speeds for several stages,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd have a special stage where you go really fast, and then you'd have a couple average speed stages, regularity stages, and over the years they got more and more special stages until that was all they were.
Right.
But you also had people running these brisk rallies, they would call them back then, and they would set a speed. Today, our speed might be 36 on one of these back roads that people are pushing pretty hard to get 36 with a streetcar and open roads. And
Yeah.
back in the day, these people would run like crazy, like 50 miles an hour speeds, and um, that got shut down pretty quick, I think,
I bet.
over the years. But you had a lot of people who were able to get into rally as a sport by feeling that excitement in a TSD, and a lot of the navigators would learn how to keep a timesheet and
Mm-hmm.
keep on schedule by having to go through those checkpoints, and so they would transfer those skills over to stage rally. And I think we've lost a little bit of that because we
Okay.
have all the recce now, and everything's a little bit more codified.
Yeah.
But man, there's also a just gonna keep talking, I guess. I have this dream of doing these like longer rallies. You know how back in the day they'd have like London to Sydney, or they'd
Oh,
have
right.
Peking to Paris, and
Yep.
Paris to Dakar, and these really long distance events that you just simply can't do with stage rally anymore.
Right.
And it's pretty sad. And I think is there's an opportunity to be doing this stuff in the US with regularity instead, where you actually could enter some pretty well prepared cars. You could have some pretty brisk speeds, and you could have a really cool adventure
Oh, yeah,
without
absolutely.
having to, spend 10 grand to make it happen.
Right. Right. Well, back in the day too, they had some real fancy trophies for those races. I've seen them up at the AACA headquarters, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
holy smokes, they spent some time and money on the trophies. But I always
Yeah.
thought, do something quirky. Like in college, I had a professor. He was a ultra runner, and at one point he had the quickest time on the Appalachian Trail.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I got talking to him, like he would run in Death Valley, like 100 kilometers or whatever. And he's won that. And I would say, well, what did you win? He goes, a belt buckle. I'm like, a
Yeah.
belt buckle? Any cash prize or anything? Nope. All I got was a belt buckle. I'm like, that'd be kind of
Yeah.
funny to do something quirky like that for a
Yeah.
TSD at the
Yeah.
end. Get
We've been
yourself a
working on that.
big, big giant belt buckle, or a
Yeah.
wrestling, the big wrestling belt. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of funny.
So to increase competition and increase interest and get people to go out more, I started a divisional championship for the Central Division SCCA this year. So it's mostly just Minnesota, Wisconsin, but we're trying to get Illinois in on it too. But to help promote this and get some people something to remember, something to take home and hang on the wall, we're developing a series of posters, artistic posters of kind of cars in like four seasons, four rallies is the theme
Mm-hmm.
right now. Working with an artist, and I'm an artist too, but he's going to do a better job than I could. But we're trying to make these like really nice prints and have something that people can bring home and really enjoy. And going forward with, okay, what kind of swag can we give
Right,
people? And this
right.
is a huge thing that stage rallies run into too. And I've seen a few different rallies do pretty interesting stuff as far as giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that Magnum Opus or no, not Magnum Opus. 100 Acre Wood or somebody had little Marshall badges that was like a tin star
Cool.
Marshall, like playing on the word Marshall. But stuff like that can really
Oh
help
yeah.
people not only enjoy themselves but think about the event in the
Mm,
future. And it's so important to treat your volunteers well. And
yeah.
I think there's a something to be said for even helping volunteers with fuel money if they're doing a job that maybe is hard to get people to do the job. Everyone else wants to run sweet, but
Right.
sometimes you have a hard time finding a stage captain or a control worker or something like that. That it's not a bad job at all. It's kind of fun, but for some reason, kind of people are reticent to stand up and raise their hand.
Right. There's a team. Um, Apologize if I get this wrong. I think they're like the Hot Hatch rally team or something, and it's a couple, driver and co-driver. And I noticed they did like treat or snack bags for all the volunteers and
Nice.
the marshals. So they'd
Yeah.
have, like a candy bar or bottle of water or something. And I thought that was really cool because it reminded me of being like here, the Appalachian Trail comes close to where we are, and there are trail angels along the way, and they'll just leave food or water and things for the through hikers,
Nice.
which helps them out tremendously. My kids did it a couple of years, and I thought that'd be kind of neat. Take care of all those volunteers. I think sometimes they might get forgotten about, and maybe
Yeah.
they're a
Yeah.
little unappreciated, but
LSPR actually has delivered Jimmy John's to people in the past. They'll have
oh,
safety
very
sweep
cool.
in a pickup truck just full of sandwiches. And when you're going and they're running the last car of that first loop, everyone can eat their sandwiches in the meantime, and then
Yeah.
by the second loop, everyone's done and refueled and works really well. I think another thing that people competitors could do to increase kind of involvement and enthusiasm and all that stuff is just print posters of your car. Buy a image from one of the photographers and
Right.
print 100 posters and give them away at Park Expose. I have
Yeah.
one from Tim O'Neill and his AMX sitting right behind my computer right now because I love that car and it's so
Oh yeah.
cool. And just kind of hard to get posters and stickers and stuff of just like swag from teams, and teams
Right.
should be able to convince someone to pay for that, right? I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because my background is graphic design, and I draw inspiration from all kinds of stuff. So the old when I was in college, we'd go see a band, and they'd have band posters that were always designed by some local artist, and they'd be screen printed or kind of lo-fi in a way,
Yeah.
and they would have them at the venue. And I thought that'd be really cool if each rally had, each year get a different artist and produce a different poster, and
Oh yeah.
kind of treat it like a band poster that you would
Yeah.
see. You know,
I know
I think
back in
that'd
the
be fun.
day, OFR was trying to get the word out, and they actually put little flyers inside like every pizza box at this one Domino's Pizza or whatever.
Oh,
So
cool.
everyone in town got the same flyer, and you could do something pretty artistic with that. And we've been working on getting better posters out and better distribution, and
Hmm.
working through our sponsors who are, you know, have retail locations, and they can go out and actually send these posters to everyone in their area. So kind of win-win.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but the power of art is amazing in promoting an event and capturing that feeling that you get at a rally, whether you like the outdoors aspect or the race
Hmm.
cars or the atmosphere or whatever it is that really does it for you. I mean, There are ways of capturing that and reminding people. If you put a poster up on your wall, you're reminding yourself of that event over and over and over.
Right.
And the $1 that the event might pay for a poster is nothing compared to the value that you get for having that artwork out there and having something beautiful to have on the
Right.
wall.
Right. And then, it becomes kind of a goal too. You go into this rally, oh, I got to get this year's poster,
Right.
and,
And you can give a different poster to volunteers. Like we do different swag for volunteers than we do for spectators. So if you show up to volunteer, you get
oh,
a
yeah,
something
cool.
that specifically you can only get if you put your time into going out and helping us run the event.
Right, right. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we could sit here and chat for hours, it sounds like. And
Yeah.
I'd really love to have you come back on. It would be great towards the end of the year and talk again. So, Tyler, I really appreciate you taking your time this evening and chatting about just about everything rally
Yeah.
related or TSD related. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. It's all rally to me, so it's just a matter of how fast you go and how much precision you need.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
Hopefully I'll
thanks.
see you and some of the audience out at an SCCA road rally soon.
My wife and I, we want to start traveling some next year, and I think getting out to the different rallies and things, races and so on, I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Jim.
Yep. If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to our sponsor for this episode, Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. And remember, don't be a fool. Check your fuel. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave and their song In Drive for the podcast theme music.